crazy because I'm sober, you know? I'm just a neurodivergent sober girl out here breaking down. Okay. Alright. Hi, I'm Thasnia. Welcome to my new channel called FutureTaz. So, this is an Asian woman's advice 6 months after the psych ward. I'm turning 23 soon, and I am Bengali American, which, if you don't know, it's a country called Bangladesh, which is in South Asia. So just putting that out there, I am Asian. A lot of people do not seem to think I'm Asian. Very interesting. But yeah, so let's get into 6 months after the psych ward, a little bit about me. So I have major depression, general anxiety, ADHD, and autism, and also social anxiety. I hope you can come to this channel every now and then to feel like you have a sense of community here. I'm here to talk about happy things, sad things, but mostly Asian things and mental health things. I really want to talk about so much stuff, like recipe videos as well and journaling videos as well. But yeah, I encourage you to comment here about any thoughts you have about the subject. If you have any anecdotes or advice you want to give or any questions you have, feel free to comment at any time. Also, please like the video if it's of any help to you. Please subscribe so that we can have more time together where we can learn things and everything. Yeah, I do respond most of the time, and I want to develop this online friendship. So yeah, this video is probably going to be broken into 2 or 3 parts. And so now let's get into my story. I went to the emergency room for a few days at NYU Hospital, and then I landed at an inpatient hospital for 1 month, which is known as the psych ward. And the psych ward in the movies looks terrifying. It looks like you're gonna walk in and your roommate is gonna be Joker, right? Like, it's gonna be an anarchist who wants to see the world burn, and it's gonna be someone violent and dangerous and scary, and like, you know, they're gonna drug you up so much that you lose yourself, and oh my god, it like looks so scary. But it's not like that at all, in my opinion. Like, in my experience, when I went to the psych ward, I felt like I was in a really sweet nursing home or like a daycare center, but like not in a demeaning way where like I feel like I'm being treated like a child or like a senior citizen when I'm not one. It's not like that. It's just like, it feels like everyone here genuinely cares about you, and you're very much involved in the relationship you have with medicine. It's not like they're just forcing them down your throat. It's not like that at all. And it felt like everybody I met there, we all became like a family. Although we're not like all talking regularly or anything, like it definitely feels like we're never gonna forget each other in our hearts. I feel like I made a lot of friends there, and I got so much support, so much love, so much help. And I was finally around people that like understand that like being unwell could get this bad, and we don't feel like we have support systems back home. But we finally found it here at the psych ward. And I got to see a therapist every day, I got to see a psychiatrist every day, and I was there for 1 full month of that kind of level of support, like high maintenance, emergent care, and I really needed that. I really encourage that for people. And I will make a video one day about what that was all like, but right now I just want to get into why I was there and how I've been navigating life afterwards. So I spent my Christmas there in 2023, and what mainly got me at the psych ward was being a victim of a lot of things. So I would say one of the big ones is family abuse, relationship abuse, abandonment and poor treatment from friends, mistreatment at work, and just a lot of sad stuff going on, kind of like a domino effect. I honestly lost hope in life. I felt like my victim experience was overpowering me and making me lose faith in myself, and faith that I can never make life better. Okay, hi. So I totally forgot about this other part I wanted to say, so I'm just gonna add it in right here. I feel like it's really important for me to mention like a little bit about my history, that like what my life was like before the psych ward. So I come from a history of messing life up for myself after people messed it up for me first, which is what my psychiatrist does not call self-harm, but has a different term for it called self-abuse. So for about 4 years straight, nearly every day, I was engaging in self-abuse. I was, you know, feeling like I was rotting alive. I was able to get nothing done other than brushing my teeth, crying, drinking a little bit of water, a lot of alcohol and drugs, and binge eating to the point of disorder. Life was pretty much rinse and repeat like this. But now I'm at a point in life where lots of losses are still throwing at me, lots of rejection, abandonment, etc. It's all still happening, but the only difference between now and before is that I'm choosing to stand tall and resilient at the top of the mountain. I get stuff done personally, professionally, and for my mind, body, and soul, and it's very hard to do, I know this, but I just want to stress to you that what I call happiness right now is not days where I don't cry anymore, I don't get angry anymore, I don't get resentful anymore. It's not like that type of happiness. That type is not even real. The type of happiness I speak about is, first of all, where I give myself permission and love to be upset, to be angry, to be stressed, to get resentful about how things aren't working my way and people are working very hard to drag me down. You know, like I still invite myself to have emotions, negative ones. I think it's very healthy. But the type of happiness I speak of now is also the one where I have faith in myself, and that's a constant in my life. No matter if everyone else around me doesn't believe in me, I remain believing in me. And I think happiness is something I own, something that belongs to me, that is in my own hands, that can't be taken away from me. And something else I really want to emphasize is everything not working out now never means that success will never be in my hands. Everything not working out now never means nothing will work out in the future. Justin Bieber once said, "Never say never," and he is right. There is no point to have a definitive about the future to say it absolutely will not go our way, because we don't have any proof unless you are thinking like religiously that like everything happens for a reason, our destiny's written out for us and all that stuff. Like that's different, but since I don't believe in those things, I'm not going to be preaching this. I think that makes me a winner at life because I constantly believe in myself, and I think people may feel that happiness is not attainable for them because of some circumstance, like our income. Like what I'm trying to say is like regardless of your income status, your beauty, your age, where you live, and like all these things, like it doesn't mean that happiness cannot be a part of you. And I say this with an example of my cousins in Bangladesh. They live in the village, and the women do not have access to education as much as I do. The women do not have access to roam around and be out with guys and like all that stuff the way I do. And they also do not have much access to electricity. The power goes out all the time, like almost every day in Bangladesh where they live, and they have like limited access to clean water, and like they don't have advanced technology and smartphones as easily as we do. So a lot of things in life, they have a lot of lack of privilege, I would say, and yet I see them smiling and happy, colorful and creative and family oriented and like so positive and happy. And I find it to be so beautiful that they don't feel like their setbacks are the reasons that they can't be happy in life. They don't feel like victims that can never be more than victims. I'm trying to say us victims can come out as survivors. And that's what happiness is all about, when you are resilient to the things going on around you. Not that there is nothing going on in the first place. So yeah, now I want to get into how I've been navigating this life after the psych ward and a little bit of advice for you. And I was about to end it all. I was about to make a permanent decision. You know, my attempt was going to work, and only one thing convinced me to stop, and it was the following. What if I make this permanent decision and I steal the chance away from me of a better life? What if that life is out there for me and I'm taking that chance away right now? What if life gets better from here? We oftentimes think, what if life continues to be as bad as it has always been? But on the flip side, we have no reason not to believe that life won't get better either. There is no way we can predict the future unless you believe that we can predict the future, that it's written out for us, everything happens for a reason, all that stuff. But I don't believe in any of those things. I'm not religious, so I like to believe that the outcome of my future is in my hands. And if it is in my hands, then why am I the one stopping it right now? Oh no, my camera is dying. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. So, okay, my camera battery was low. So, back to what I was saying. So that's what helped me stop, but what helped me keep going was actually different. It's a quote that helped me have faith in myself, which is from Naruto Shippuden, which is one of my favorite TV shows ever. It's from Rock Lee or Guy Lee, I can't remember who said it, but someone from that show once said, "Effort never betrays you." effort never betrays you. It keeps me going because it's true. And I'll get into that more throughout the video. So now I'm going to be looking at my journal and telling you about how I've been navigating life after the psych ward. It's been 6 months now, and the very first piece of advice I have is an extension of what I said before, which is that believing in yourself determines the trajectory of your life, not being a victim, not being rejected over and over. So one example I can give you is my own experience. My family rejected my career and my educational aspirations. So when I first came to college in 2019, I went to SUNY Oneonta, which is a school way up north in New York, and it's a predominantly white school. I think I got a huge scholarship at the time because I am one of the only Asians they have. I remember their rate of Asian students was like 3% or 2%. It was really, really awful, and I just hated being there. And I studied medicine, and I also hated studying medicine because I really, really want to help people, but I don't want to do it through medicine. I want to do it through holistic means and through creative means. So I explained to my family that this is not for me, this school is not for me, this medical career is not for me. And of course, my Asian parents didn't take that well. To them, my worth was determined based on how smart I am. If I wasn't getting 100 on all my tests, if I wasn't getting an A+, then my parents were really disappointed in me and my brother. And I remember being yelled at all the time, being told that I'm worthless and that I'm never gonna go anywhere in life because I'm not getting these hundreds. So that's the kind of home I grew up in, which is really terrible. And so when I told my family that I don't want to pursue medicine anymore and I don't want to go to SUNY anymore, I told them I want to go to New York City at Hunter College and I want to start studying something else. I didn't know what, I just knew it wasn't going to be medicine. And it ended up being film that I studied at Hunter. I'm still at Hunter. And my family, let me tell you, they were not on my side. They were not on my team at all. They like constantly threatened my financial access to them, and they like threatened to disown me, and they said that I'm really like worthless and I'm not gonna make any money if I go to film, and I'm gonna hate going to school in New York City because it's far away and New York City's dangerous and dirty and all these things, blah blah blah. And, you know, I'm like a city girl. Like, I was born and raised in Queens, and then I came up to upstate New York for most of my life, and somehow I knew that I don't belong here in this white ass suburb. So like, I knew I wanted to go back to the city where diversity is welcome, where queerness is more openly welcome and all these things. So I told my family, like, I want to move to New York City, and they had no support for me. They did not believe in my success as a student. I told them a couple years into being at Hunter that I want to pursue film, and they told me that film, I'm never going to make money, I'm going to go broke, no one's going to marry me if I become a film major. And they also told me that like I'm gonna sell my body to film. And despite their lack of support, what I did is I went and pursued it anyway. I went and got my film. I don't have my film degree yet, but I went and shot for it. I've worked at so many film festivals and podcasts and movies, like Paramount Pictures. Like, I've done so much. I've done acting as well. I've been a PA, I've been a social media manager. I've done many, many things, and I've been so happy working in film. And so happy going to Hunter College, where there's a huge Asian population. But it's not even about being around a huge Asian population, it's about being around diversity. And, you know, also around like a rather more liberal school that fights for Palestine and everything, but like, you know, just adding certain schools right now. But yeah, it's like, I feel very safe at Hunter, I feel very included. And so yeah, I'm just trying to tell you, like, listen, my family did not believe in me, but here I am choosing my own path, and I do not owe them my career. I do not owe them the school that I go to either, where I pursue my education. Like, parents like to say, as Asian parents especially, that like, oh, we raised you, we gave birth to you, we feed you, we financially support you, so you owe us that you pursue our dreams. You're gonna go into STEM because we said so. We gave up our dreams as immigrants, so now it's your turn. And I really want to get that out of your head, because first of all, their dream was to become an immigrant. That's why they did it. I remember my dad yelling at me all the time about like how I don't listen to him and how I pursue film and I go to Hunter College instead of SUNY Oneonta, and like I'm just like this really disobedient, terrible person. I find out later on My dad immigrated here against my grandparents' wishes. His parents told him not to come to the US, but he did anyway because it was his dream. So he's out here telling me he sacrificed his dreams for me and blah blah. No, your dream was to come here. Your dream was to come here for safety, for opportunity, for the abundance of opportunity for your children and for yourself, for better access to money and education. Like, it is not my fault that you immigrated here. And you giving birth to me, like, yes, you gave birth to me, but like, what I owe you in return is respect and love, as long as you give me respect and love back. What I don't owe you is control over my career just because you're my parents. It doesn't work that way. That is like a very totalitarian mindset, authoritarian, I think mindset is the correct word, and I don't approve of it. I think the relationship you should have between parent and child is you love each other and you let each other pursue what makes you happy and healthy and keeps you sustainable. I don't think we should be out here saying that because I raised you, you owe me your life. You owe me your life choices. Yeah, it's just too much. It's not fair. So, I told my family, like, you know, I think if you really loved me, you would care that I go and do something that makes me happy and healthy, not that I'm doing something that you want, which is STEM. And my brother, he did what they wanted. He pursued a degree in medicine, and he's a doctor now, and he hates his job. And he told me that he did it just to satisfy my parents' dream. And look at that, he doesn't even like it. So I just don't think we are ever going to feel free and happy if everything we do is for somebody else. Even if it's our parents, it's still not us. And I feel like if someone cannot be happy for you while you're pursuing what you want, I don't think that person has your best interest in mind. I think they have a version of you that they conditionally love. And I am very aware that my parents conditionally love me. And I am reminded all the time that I'm unacceptable, that the choices I make and everything are an abomination to my culture and everything. And what I know is that I'm a good person, I work hard, I make good choices, I don't hurt anybody intentionally, and you know, like, that should be more important than like if I'm a STEM girl, if I'm marrying early, if I'm having kids early, and like all that bull crap that women go through in the Asian community. So that's just like my little take about how, you know, if they don't believe in you, you still gotta believe in yourself. And let me tell you, a few years later into my film career, I invited my parents to a film festival that I was hosting, and my parents did not want to go. I begged them and they yelled at me and they were like, this is a waste of our time, this is a waste of our gas money, we have to drive all the way to New York City, I'm busy, it's a work day, blah, blah, blah. Like, they had all these awful things to say. They were like, we don't want to see you work, like, we don't support your career, blah, 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 you're not gonna make money, you're not gonna get married. But anyway, I forced them, kind of, and they came, and then at first they were acting very like resentful, like, oh, I don't want to be here, right? But then they saw me on the microphone hosting this festival in Queens, and we were screening a Bangladeshi film about the slums in Bangladesh. It's a movie, you can look it up, called The Instinct by Jubaraj Shamim. I support that man so much. He's a good friend of mine, and he won one of the best awards ever at that film at the year that I think 2022 that he was nominated. My dad was nearly in tears by the end of the film because he realized, oh my god, my daughter is actually doing something really important, and it's in film, and like, she's being a change maker in the workforce for the Asian community, and she's trying to advocate for my own culture, my own native land, my people. And you know, like, film can really change your heart, film can really change your mind about people, about things, and that's why I want to work in film. Like, I want to advocate for South Asian issues, I want to advocate for mental health. My dad told me that night he completely like understood now that, like, okay, Tasnia is actually doing something really good, I believe in her now, I support her dreams are good ideas. And ever since then, my parents have not really given me criticism anymore about my film career. So I just want to tell you that, like, people might believe in you later, you might get your applause later, but you can't wait around for it. And as long as you know what you're doing is right, what you deserve, then that's what's more important than if people understand. And that is a quote I actually got from Jin from BTS. I can't locate the exact time he said it, I just know that there was one day he said that nobody believed in him, but he did his life anyway, and now everybody thinks he's worldwide handsome, right? Like, now he's so successful. That was actually bringing me to my next point, which is that I want to give you another example of people who are facing rejection, people that nobody believes in them, but now they're coming out strong outside of my own anecdote. So BTS is a great example. The first few years that they debuted, they were not popular. Everybody thought they were ugly, not talented. They weren't making any profit. The budget was like too high for them to sustain themselves, so they were poor, and like they just weren't making it out there. A lot of people were like trying to disband the group and tell certain idols to go be solo, then you'll be successful, and like nobody like wanted the best for them. But now look at them today. They're in the military, which sucks. But I mean, look at them today as in like they are one of the most famous artists in our entire generation, in our entire decade. In our entire decade, one of the most famous groups ever. They are the king of pop, the king of K-pop, of our modern day generation. So think about that. Think about how nobody believed in them at first, but now look how far they've come. So look how important it is to believe in yourself, right? So my next example is going to be Naruto. I'm just trying to give you a bunch of examples of how like, look, people didn't believe in them, but like they persevered. Naruto was another example. Nobody believed in him. He was bullied his whole childhood. He was an orphan. Everybody hated him. Everybody set him up to fail. And Sasuke and Sakura, his own team bullied him the most. They told him the most that he's not enough, and actually they were jealous in the end. We now know this. But they believed that he couldn't make it, and Naruto never let that get to his head. Like, he always worked hard anyway, and he ended up becoming one of the most powerful characters in the entire show. So it really goes to show you how working hard, believing in yourself, and effort just being something you always pursue because it never betrays you, that's how to go about life. That is how you'll persevere. I want to mention like Rock Lee and Guy Lee, the same thing happened where Rock Lee is on the same team as Neji. Neji was born talented, he was born with privilege, he was born with the Byakugan. And Rock Lee was not born with anything like this. He was born rather untalented, as people think, right? So wasn't he set up to fail? Wasn't he set up to not be happy? No, he wasn't. Why? Because Guy Lee said effort never betrays you. And he said to Rock Lee that you are not born talented with, you know, Byakugan or everything, but you are born with a natural talent for effort. And what did that do to Rock Lee? He ended up being stronger than Neji. He ended up being stronger than most characters in the entire show. And he's just so happy and he's doing well, you know? Like, it really, really motivates me that Rock Lee believed that effort never betrays him. It really helped me believe that effort's never gonna betray me either. So the last point I want to make about how believing in yourself is so important, even if people don't understand right now, is about, for example, women's right to vote, slavery, and the Holocaust. These are all major events, and especially in US history, where the first person to say slavery is wrong, Holocaust is wrong, women deserve a right to vote, women deserve a right to property, people of color deserve a right to property, the first people to say this were shut down by the masses. They were violated. They were physically violated for having these beliefs. But these people continue to protest. The movement went on and on and on for years, for decades, and now what? We live in a world where we now have a right to vote. We now have slavery being illegal. We now have the Holocaust between Jewish people and German people. It's over. There's a new Holocaust going on right now. Sure hope you're on the right side about that. But yeah, I just want to say, like, look, nobody believed in them at first for years, but now we're in a place where freedom is a part of us. Have an outlet for your emotions. Understand that it is totally okay and necessary to feel your feelings. If you don't flush your emotions into an emotional toilet, into a proper safe outlet, they're going to explode out of you physically when you least expect it. So for example, when I am overwhelmed by my emotions and I don't feel like I'm letting myself bring them out, I get so nauseous that I pass out, or I start getting dizzy with my eyes, Or because I have autism, I can also get into sensory breakdowns where suddenly the light hurts to look at, wearing clothes hurts, it like feels really uncomfortable to have clothes on, and I have to take everything off, otherwise I just don't feel good. I start panicking. What also happens is like noise. If I hear certain noises, they can be so triggering that I feel like I'm gonna vomit. Or, you know, like I feel like people when they're pregnant, like they get very like sensitive like this with their physical like senses, and I'm saying the same thing happens when you don't acknowledge your feelings, when you don't give them a safe place to be. So if you don't know what an autistic breakdown is like, where all of your senses just kind of shut down, another example, without being insensitive, I'm just trying to get people to understand what it might feel like, is kind of like when you have a very bad high, when you get so high that you suddenly feel every single motion and it makes you want to vomit, or it's making you feel like you're about to collapse, or your head is like pounding, your heart is pounding so much you feel like you're gonna die. It's like things like that. Like that's kind of how autistic breakdowns feel like for me. It feels like a really bad high, which is crazy because I'm sober. You know, I'm just a neurodivergent sober girl out here breaking down. But yeah, some things I really encourage you to do is find an outlet to flush out your emotional toilet, because again, it will come out of you physically. Another example is like people that get angry when they don't have a safe space to let go of their anger. They oftentimes yell and scream, they interrupt people, they break things, they slam doors. This is what my parents do. Because they don't know how to deal with their anger properly. But when I'm angry, when I'm sad, what I do to deal with it, there's a lot of things. First of all, I let myself cry. I invite you to cry. It's a very healthy thing. It's like crazy that people say like crying is for the weak. I think crying is for the strong. I think crying is for the resilient. Crying is for the people who believe that they're allowed to feel these emotions. And then they're the ones that come out stronger because they're not afraid to feel. I forgot the quote, but basically if you don't live with it, it will consume you. Even cats get depressed, even dogs get depressed, even dogs get angry. So it's like the fact that so many people say like feelings of sadness and anger and all that stuff is a weakness, I totally disagree. So what I do to deal with it, for example, is I tell people I'm not fine, I'm not doing okay, I'm having a bad day. I tell myself out loud, I wish life was different right now. I feel like acknowledging that things are not going the way you want, that you're not okay, really is like a form of meditation, a form of mindfulness, which is a coping tool I learned at the Psych ward, which I've learned before, which is that if you don't accept that you're not happy, you might go insane from just trying to convince yourself that everything's okay. So what I also do is I journal a lot. I write down everything I'm feeling, everything that makes me upset, how I wish things could be different. I write like mean things about people to just like, you need a space to be irrational for a while. So like you need a space to irrationally like talk smack about people, to wish bad things for them, and like just like be irrational, because if you don't let it process, if you don't let yourself process, if you don't let yourself flush it out, it's going to scream out of you when you least expect it. You're going to start treating people unfairly or yourself unfairly, and you will become irrational if you don't make space, a safe place for you to be irrational for a little while. For example, when I'm depressed, I don't tell myself like, oh, you're overweight, you can't have pizza. I tell myself, yes, you're overweight, but you're very depressed right now. You deserve that pizza. You deserve to give yourself some self-love, some relief. Forget about the fact that I'm not healthy right now. Like I just need to treat my emotions. I just need to let them exist. I also blast sad music. I listen to About You by the 1975, which is my favorite song. It makes me so happy and so sad at the same time, and I love it. I encourage you to take medicine, take Tylenol. I encourage you also to go to therapy and also go to a psychiatrist and get medicated in terms of, you know, stabilizing your mood, stabilizing your outbursts, your impulsivity, and all that stuff. I'm an advocate for medicine. I actually spent years trialing so many different medications and they never worked, and I started to believe it will never work. But I now have found 3 medications that when I take them together, I'm actually functioning pretty well. And my mood is pretty regulated. Right now I'm on medication and I'm feeling pretty great. I'm feeling pretty stable. So, you know, those are some advice I have about flushing the emotional toilet, or else it's going to explode out of you. It needs an excretory system, it needs an outlet. I would say, like, for example, if you don't let yourself pee and poo every day. What happens? You get constipated, you physically suffer, everything becomes excruciatingly painful, and you can die from constipation. I know a dog that died from constipation, and it's just really horrible. I don't want that to happen to us. I would say emotional constipation can cause you more suffering than the emotion themselves. If you let the emotion have its space, it will not hurt you nearly as much as not letting the emotion be there. So that is all of my advice. I tried to say it quickly because my camera is dying once again. But yeah, this is just part one. I hope this was helpful. Please like and comment and subscribe. I want to come back here and give you more support, and I want to hear how I'm doing. I want to hear your thoughts about if this helped you in any way or if this got you thinking about anything. Yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time. Thank you for trying. Remember, effort never betrays you. Okay, bye.